What's up, CHFFL, and welcome back to the next installment in my pre-draft outlook series. Today we're going to be talking about Brad Swan and how he is looking as we go into our keeper selection period. I was going to do 2 or 3 teams in the second video, but Swan actually has a lot of keeper options, so I think this video is going to be packed just talking about him. Getting into last season, Swan finished 3-11, including a 6-game losing streak toward the end of the season. Because he was a seller and he knew it early, he had 3 trades where he gained draft picks back, and you'll see his draft board is fairly impressive this year. But first, looking at his potential keepers, I have 7 options selected for him, and we'll try and narrow those down to what the best ones are. Alright, so first I have Dion Lewis. He can keep in the 8th. Average draft position for ESPN PPR is 70. Rank in Fantasy Pros ECR PPR is 55. And Swan can keep him with the 89th pick. Now you see I have 89/80 there. And that's because I have 3 players on this chart that could be kept in the 8th round, but Swan only has 1 8th round pick. So that 80 overall is actually his 7th rounder, which he could use, or he could try to trade somebody for another 8th round pick if he wants to keep 2 or all 3 of those guys. Moving down from Dion Lewis, see Stephon Diggs, good wide receiver 2 choice. I think most people are thinking he can have Diggs in the 3rd round. Going 35 in ESPN drafts right now, and the Fantasy Pros have him at 29. Swan can take him right in the middle there at 32. Alex Collins next. I have him an asterisk because he is one of my predicted keepers for Swan. He has a similar outlook to Dion Lewis, but no question of who's going to start. I know Lewis, people aren't sure if Derrick Henry is going to start or if it's going to be Lewis. So Collins is going much earlier than Lewis and is ranked a little bit higher than him. Swan can keep him at the same spot. Jay Ajayi next. I included him. He can be kept with the 48th overall pick, and that's right around where he's ranked / being drafted. I feel like Ajayi is being slightly undervalued, even though I'm not crazy about him as a runner. His situation is very good in Philadelphia, so I thought Swan might consider him. Julian Edelman, of course, Swan kept last year because he had him in the last round the previous year while he was out for the whole season on the IR. Even though Edelman is facing a suspension and was not granted his appeal, Swan could still get him with the 125th pick, which is a few rounds, 2 or 3 rounds after where he's going and where he's ranked, even with the suspension. Next, we have Andrew Luck. He's another one Swan can have in the 8th. This time, actually, because he drafted him rather than picking him up off of free agency. Luck's whole outlook is going to be very dependent on injuries, though, going into the season. And, well, not any new injury, but where is he health-wise after not playing last year? And if we see Luck at camp, if we see him playing in preseason games, his draft spot and his rank will probably go up. I have him asterisked here as somebody Swan's going to take on that assumption that I think his rank's probably going to rise a little bit over the next few weeks, but it could not. I also included Marshawn Lynch, mostly for namesake. Swan can have him with the 6th. There's a big discrepancy between his draft position and his rank right now, probably because of the name. He's going 51 in ESPN PPR leagues, but he's ranked 87 in the Fantasy Pros consensus. Swan doesn't have a 6th round pick, so without trading for one, if he wanted to keep Lynch, he'd have to use his 5th round pick, 56 overall. And that was a mouthful, and that's why I only did one team. I think, and what I have predicted here is that Alex Collins, Julian Edelman, and Andrew Luck will be Swan's keepers. If it's not that, I think I'd swap out Luck for Lewis, and he'll take 2 very good mid-round running back options in the 7th and 8th, along with Edelman to be a wide receiver 3 for him. And then he's going to be very deep. And you'll see on the next chart, Swan has the 8th overall pick, but he has an extra 3rd rounder, an extra 4th rounder, an extra 5th rounder without losing anything substantial at all. He's just lost his 13th and 14th. So I think the only knock against Swan is that the 8th overall pick, he's not going to have one of those top tier guys, your David Johnson, Bell, Brown. He's going to be getting the next layer of pickings, but that means he's going to have a lot of flexibility, especially since he has 7 options that I think are potential keepers. If he takes 2 running backs as keepers, for example, and maybe no Edelman, or even if Edelman, he can go for a wide receiver first. He's going to be getting his choice out of that second tier of players. I think that because of all of the added beef in the mid rounds 3 to 5 and a medley of very solid keeper options, Swan is one of the best looking teams going in to this season, and I've given him an A. I still reserve the right to change all of these because I think Swan is a fair bit better than Mark, who I graded first. So we'll see how the curve goes. But I think being 2 half-letter grades above Mark accurately reflects the difference. That's all the time I have for this round of the pre-draft outlook. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Feel free to subscribe to my channel. Oh, it's over here. If you want to get these updates faster than anybody else. And if you missed any of the other videos I've posted this season, they're in the playlist in the bottom left. So, bye-bye.